Let's say you want to create a music video for someone you know and it's gonna be based on an inside joke like this one. Just a year ago or so, that would have taken some significant effort. You would either have to hire several people, spend a lot of money, or you would have to learn a bunch of skills yourself, like playing an instrument or shooting a video. Today, thanks to AI, all you really need is some basic video editing and maybe some of the advice I'm about to give in this video. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Swetlana AI and this video is gonna be about what I'm doing with AI and how it's been unfolding so far. Some of what I'm about to show you might be useful if you're thinking about creating something, or maybe you're just curious. So either way, stick with me and you might find some inspiration here. P.S. I would love to know what you think about this video, so feel free to leave a comment below and obviously subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. So in the past months I've been creating a lot of different things. I have 3 YouTube channels that involve AI in one form or another. One for music, one for my podcast, plus the channel that you're watching right now. For these YouTube channels I've been dabbling in very different genres and formats, each requiring a different level of effort. Take my podcast channel for example. Apart from video editing and curating the topics, these videos are entirely AI generated. I sometimes create an entire podcast video while drinking my first coffee in the morning and just upload it straight away. For the voice and discussion part of my podcast videos, I'm using NotebookLM by Google. In case you're not familiar with it, it's an entirely free tool which will let you generate audio overviews about anything.
Alright, massive welcome to the deep dive. Today we go deep,
Deep into
the world. Artificial intelligence, AI, as Dim say.
All you need to do is provide a PDF, a website, or just paste a text about anything. You could try to create an audio overview about your CV, for example, and I'm sure you'll love the result. For my main YouTube channel, which you are watching right now, I mostly use these AI tools. Most of them have free versions available, although the free versions are in most cases limited. Most of these tools have alternatives. For example, instead of Suno, you can also try Udio. Both AI music tools are pretty good, and the reason I use Suno is because it fits my needs a little better. For video generation, you have even more choices to pick from. There's Runway, Luma, Kling AI, and others. If you want to know how they differ from each other, there are comparison videos on YouTube which you can check out and see which tool might be better for your purposes. When it comes to images, some of my current favorites are Ideogram, Flux, Reef, and Leonardo AI. But I'm also increasingly using ChatGPT and Sora for images. These are especially cool for Ghibli-style illustrations and comic panels and stuff like this. I used to rely a lot on Midjourney, but it's producing super polished images while I was looking for something more wild and unexpected. Generally, in terms of beauty, Midjourney would probably be the best option, but since I'm not focused on creating pretty pictures all that much, I prefer using these other tools. Now, your choice of image generator will depend not only on your taste, but also to a large extent on your individual use case. If you need proper text rendering, for example, someone wearing a t-shirt saying "I love hot dogs," try it in Ideogram. If you want to generate an image of a celebrity, try Reef or Grok. Other tools might either refuse to generate images of celebrities, or the result will be rather mid. The most beautiful thing about AI is that now anything is possible. If you can think it, you can create it. You can literally make a cool commercial for your small business for free without much production effort or a team of people. Something that previously could cost you like 15k in production costs is now available for literally pennies or even for free. Let's look at a hypothetical example.
Hello, have you heard of my fancy product? Visit my website, fancyproduct.com, and get 10% off your order.
Creating this type of video is a pretty straightforward process. You simply generate some images, animate them using an AI video tool, generate a voiceover with 11 labs, and maybe add some background music which you can create using Suno or Udio. Put them together into a video and voila, you get your commercial. Depending on what you want to do, you can also add some lip sync to make a character talk. Pretty much the same process applies to the creation of music videos or any other formats, maybe minus the voiceover, which you usually don't need in music videos. Now that creating any type of content is so easy and accessible, it's clear that the real value lies in your idea. That's why I wouldn't recommend using AI, for example ChatGPT, to find the initial idea. With the right prompt, you might get a result that seems like it's good enough, but if you're being too general and just ask it to write a song about food, don't expect anything original. What I'm saying is that you need to flesh out your idea a little bit or envision it in some way to then go to ChatGPT and say something like, write a song about a hot dog that's been sitting in the fridge for 2 days and describe its subjective emotional state as if it were a living being. So what I would suggest is that you go to some quiet place and write down your idea. Journaling itself has never been this lucrative because you can just turn a diary entry into a short film if you wanted to. If you're not a diary person, think about a dream you had or what your last conversations with other people have been about or what you've been thinking about a lot in general, and eventually some concepts will emerge, which you then take and turn into a real piece of something like a story. If you don't consider yourself an artist and just want to make a cool music video as a gift for a friend, then obviously go ahead and let ChatGPT write the lyrics. But at least put some effort into your prompt, because the standard lyrics you will get with a simple prompt might be super bland and cliché and not in a good way. Now, I'm not exactly Rick Rubin to lecture you on creativity, but I really have to emphasize the importance of taste and curation here, which basically only means mindfulness, as in being mindful about the core idea of whatever it is you're trying to say. AI does much of the work, so you have more time and energy to come up with nice ideas and cultivate some sense of purpose, as in why you're doing what you're doing. Of course, there will be many people who will want to automate the hell out of the entire process, not really thinking through the purpose of it. But if you do that, you'll likely be creating pure AI slop, which still can be successful, as I've seen on YouTube, but it doesn't look like something that you would be proud of. The most boring AI stuff I see out there are tropes like dinosaur or dragon scenes with old bearded men, which are often copies of existing movie scenes like Lord of the Rings, and similar bland stuff where you can clearly see that the creator hasn't spent enough time thinking about the idea. Meanwhile, the most exciting stuff is usually based on an exciting idea, and in the best case scenario, the idea has some narrative depth. Here's an example. This is a movie trailer by AI or Die for the fictional movie Karen, about the stereotype we have all come to know through memes. I think this is genius, and I generally love what these guys are doing. Anyway, back to our creative process. Let's go over the steps again. Let's imagine we are making a short video, which is a news show where the TV host is talking about the quote-unquote fancy product, which was mentioned earlier in this video. Before I even start creating anything, I sit down and think what I want this video to really be about or what it should convey. In this case, we could come up with a story in which the fancy product falls down a windowsill and injures a grandma who was walking down the street. This would create a little drama around the product, and we're gonna add a happy end to this. So the grandma quickly recovers after her injury, plus she gets a free fancy product as a nice gesture. So now that we got the concept together, we can start thinking about the details. So the first thing for me is the image. Let's first generate a TV news set with a host. Now let's create an image of our grandma. I usually generate a few images and see which one I like the most. Let's pick this one. Now let's write a story in which the news host is reading the news piece. Now, because this is a news show, we're gonna need some lip sync here. For this, we can either use Kling AI, HeyGen, or Hydra. Let's pick Hydra for this one. Now, let's write a script for the news story. In this case, I'm gonna let ChatGPT write it, and I'm gonna use a somewhat specific prompt. So here's our prompt. Write a short, one long paragraph TV news story which will be read by a fictional TV news host Story is about the fancy product packaged in a white box. The fancy product falls down the windowsill and injures a grandma who was walking down the street. There's a happy end. The grandma could crawl after her injury, plus she gets a free fancy product. It's a nice gesture. And here's the output. Now I'm gonna slightly shorten and edit it and create the voiceover of the final result in 11 Labs. In 11 Labs you have a lot of different voices to choose from. Now let's take our shortened script and generate an audio file. In the next step we head straight to Hydra and upload our file there along with the image of the news host. And just like that we now have a video with a talking character.
In a bizarre yet heartwarming turn of events, a fancy product, yes, the viral item everyone's been unboxing online, fell off a third-floor windowsill this morning.
For our news, we're gonna animate this image of a grandma. Now we can go to our video generator of choice and animate that image. As a final step, I'm gonna add background music and a news show trailer. And voila, here's our video.
In a bizarre yet heartwarming turn of events, a fancy product, yes, the viral item everyone's been unboxing online, fell off a third-floor windowsill this morning and struck an unsuspecting grandmother on her afternoon walk. Witnesses say the white box spun mid-air, like something out of a commercial, before landing squarely on 76-year-old Irma Klein's shoulder. Paramedics rushed her to the hospital where, thankfully, doctors confirmed only a minor bruise. As news of the incident spread, the makers of Fancy Product personally visited Irma, apologizing and gifting her a complimentary fancy product. Irma, now in good spirits, told reporters she's excited to finally find out what all the fuss is about, joking that next time I'd prefer a coupon.
Now before this video gets too long, I'm gonna leave you with one very specific piece of advice. Video editing will be a very valuable skill in the future, even more valuable than before, so make sure you look into that even if you don't consider yourself a filmmaker or artist. Even though there are AI tools out there which can do the editing for you, I feel like this is something you should try doing yourself, because at the moment even basic editing by a human will result in something much nicer than what AI will produce. But also it's a very nice feeling when you actually create and edit a whole video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you like this video. Of course, press the like button and leave a comment if you have something to say. I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Have a beautiful day. Take care and bye-bye.
Happy breakfast, oh happy breakfast. Happy breakfast, oh happy